of my managers gave me feedback. I did a report and then she responded to the report. And I was on a call with a friend and I stood up and I enjoyed. I said, I love my new manager. Like the way she gives feedback.
Hi everyone, welcome to this podcast. Today I'm excited because I have my very own brother, Idowu. Do you want to say hello now?
Thank you so much, Jide. Jide, we're rocking the cap. But I know the cap is your own brand. Me, I'm just rocking it today just to compliment Jide.
And it really looks good on you. The purpose of this conversation is I always want to talk to people that are creatives, that are working within the creative industry or even outside the creative industry, to pick up one or two things from their journey to inspire us and to empower us to do better on our own creative journey. And then today we're just going to be talking about creativity and culture, looking at work environment, even taking it outside of work to our everyday life. I think you should start. So tell us, what is creativity? What do you think creativity is?
Well, creativity is one of God's gifts, and all good and perfect gifts come from God. I mean, creativity is more like imagination and putting your imagination into work to create something new or to improve of what is already existing. So it's all about, so when you're talking creativity, you're talking of imagination and you're talking of innovating something. So I think generally that's what I would say creativity is.
Yeah, so it's about connecting dots and bringing things together. So connecting dots to create something that is entirely new, to bring to life things that are new. And I really like that you spoke about the part of imagination coming into place. So now looking at company culture and looking at within the context of an organization, why is creativity important?
Yeah, talking about the workplace and creativity, you and I will agree that the companies that we have in the 90s is not the same that we have right now. So let us look at those companies then and the companies now. What's the difference, or what makes this company, the now company, supersedes the previous companies in the 90s? You can say that it's because of the creative way of doing things. Maybe even in technology, creativity has been added to some things to bring about technology. Maybe before, when you go to a bank, you have to fill a form and you have to queue the whole day just to deposit money, right? And right now, I mean, you can do it from the tap on your phone, right? Right, so that's one creativity. And so in the workplace too, creativity in how we manage our people, creativity in the kind of product we launch, creativity in the aspect of how we even solve problems, right? So creativity in the workplace spans from, different angle. And creativity does not have to be with the people who do graphic design or edit videos alone. Because there's a way we are doing things, and just because we're doing it this way doesn't mean that's how we're going to be doing it. So when you see a change that happened from one phase to the other, if you look at it, creativity is actually in it. Someone was creative enough to say, let's change this thing and do it this way to be more productive, to be more effective.
And there's a way creativity also fuels innovation. Innovation is changing how we do things.
Right.
If everyone used to go to their workplace by boat, right, somebody coming and disrupting the whole system, and then we can now all just do like this and then disappear to our offices.
All right.
Like, I'm actually looking forward to a day like this. So I tend to think about...
you might just wear something here and then you just say, I'm going to the office.
Honestly.
And then the thing is, it knows that this is at this particular time of the day. That is what you mean.
Exactly. How can we set up an organization for creative success?
That's a very good question. And because now we've seen the importance of creativity, so now any organization that is not creative or any organization that have talents that are not creative will kind of be at the back. right? So if you now know that our people need to be creative and we need to put those creativity to use, then that you need to focus on how the organization is set up. And then you now need to know that are we creating an enabling environment for the creativity of our people to thrive, right? So it boils down to leadership. I mean, the leadership of the organization. When a leader is steering the organization and they know where the company needs to go and is visionary, then it should first of all be that thing. He is a creative person on his own. What has worked for him so far in his creative journey, he should put that as part of maybe the culture, the policies and all that. So the environment needs to be an environment that does not stifle creativity of the people. And when it also comes to creativity, one of the things I want to mention is the fact that training and development in the organization is essential for creativity, right? And the reason why I mentioned it quickly is because I went for a training on creative writing in my organization. Like, I'm not in the brand and marketing team, but I was sent on that training on creative writing, critical thinking and all that. And in the lecture, one thing jumped at me. He said, if you don't use it, you lose it. And in my workplace, I get a lot of creative ideas, and some of it I put it at the backside. And because of that, my creativity maybe goes down. So what I'm trying to drive at with that point is that if your talents in the organization are creative and the creativity is not put to work, or they churn it out and their leader clamp it down in them, if we don't use it, we lose it. So if those creativity that the talents are bringing about are not being put to use, or the organization is set up in a way that they don't celebrate it, right, it's definitely gonna go down. So the more people are creative, let them see the impact of their creativity in how they solve problems. And as soon as they start seeing those things play out, the creativity comes more and more, right? So create an environment in our policies when people, and mistakes are bound to happen. Creativity at times is risk taking. So if people take risk and you beat them for it, right? Like calculated risk, and you shut them down, then next time the creativity is not going to come. And then if one person did that and they see what you did to that person because of creativity, everybody will just be on a comfort zone. Let's just do the barest minimum. Oh no, this is how we do it. Let's just go with the flow.
Especially when your OKR or your KPI is attached to it.
Yes. So we need to have an environment that helps creativity to thrive, and it starts from the leadership.
So we need to create an enabling environment that doesn't stifle creativity. And we also need to celebrate it. Celebrate it, let people know that their impact is being felt. And one other thing that you spoke about, you said if you don't use it, you lose it. Now, in the context of teams or organizations where they are not necessarily the creative people in code, right? Because I agree with your sentiment that everybody is actually creative. Right? Creativity is in our DNA as humans. Now it's if you choose to use it or not. Right? Now, how is it being used, or how can it be used in the context of you're not in the marketing team, you're not a designer? How is it being used?
So like I said earlier, that this is the way we've been doing things, right? Creativity is like, how can we even do the thing another way and make it better? So even if you're not in a marketing team, the way you communicate with your colleagues, right? Maybe before you have to go to the office to see them, and you have to now download everything and in conversation, and you guys are talking for 2 hours and all that. But is there a way you can be creative enough to do maybe like an executive summary and put it together in PowerPoint and put it together in bar chart and all that, such that the person can digest what you're about to tell them in 1 hour in 10 minutes? That's some sort of creativity, right? And so it can come in different forms, but you just need to maybe understand your role and think of how can I do this even in a better way, and then you can now use that. Okay, what are the technology available right now? What are the resources I have right now that can even make this thing even much more better? And when you do it the first time, do it the second time, and productivity increases, then they begin to see that, oh, let's do it this way. Then it starts to now become the way we are doing things.
Yeah.
And over time, it will now become another way, because it gets better over time, right? Yeah.
That's very beautiful. Now, I know you to have been somebody in the film industry, made a couple films and then moved into HR, and you're still able to bring your film into use, right? You're able to create culture videos and employee videos, right? Tell me about that journey.
Well, at times it's not that you have it all figured out to say that, okay, now I'm going to this company now. When I get there, my experience in media, I'm bringing it, you must accept it, right? But I guess when I was trying to get into my organization, right, that I am right now, and I saw the engagement and culture and communication, I think it sounds like something interesting, because prior to that time I was in recruitment and HR generalist role. But when I saw this, it became like interesting. So in the course of joining, and I see what the team is all about, and I'm like, wait, this is actually nice. So I started learning, because it was a new role for me, right? So I started learning, and with the help of my supportive leaders and all that, at that time, my team lead, my supervisor, my colleague, right? Everybody like helped in the process. And at some point, we were to communicate something about specifically on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And then my supervisor brought the idea and said, let's do this. And then in the moment, he said we need to like shoot the video and all that. So even though maybe I don't know if he knows, maybe I've done anything in media before or not, but my media experience helped in envisaging how the production is going to go. So in terms of now getting in touch with my talents, who are the people I need to use, right? And on the production day, when the camera person, the cinematographer set up and all that, and then I was looking at the monitor and I was telling him, oh, the headroom, are you going to tilt like this or pan like this? And then using those language, then they said, wait, my brands person that time said, wait about this thing like that. And then the way I was passionate. So my media experience into that project now came live, and then I now appreciated the fact that I could use whatever skill I have to put in this my HR role. So that was the journey through that. And also we're talking about organizations at that time, earlier rather. At my organization, the promise is that do your best work and live your best life. So if you're living your best life has to do with some passion you have on the side or the skills you have on the side, we want you to still be in the workplace. So every organization should also look at what our talents is, not just the desk and chair that we give them to say this is your KPI. They have other things that they are passionate about. Is there a way we can bring it for them to also practice that thing? And apart from that, we have the music team in my organization. We have, if you're a lover of book, there's a book club, different things like that. So not just your KPI, but you have things you're passionate about that you can also do at the workplace, and it brings some form of attachment to your workplace. And then when people now want to leave their job, they start thinking of all these things together, and then they'll be like, no, I can't leave this organization. Right. So
employers need to realize that there is more to the talent's life beyond the 9 to 5. And when you are able to create an enabling environment for that person to thrive outside of 9 to 5, and even create or support their growth generally, it's it keeps them together. Creating an enabling environment. How do we give feedback to enable creativity to thrive in an organization? How do we give feedback? And how should the creative receive feedback?
Come on. That's also a very nice question. So, and I think the feedback thing is not a creative person thing alone.
Yeah, it's
for everybody, and it's a skill that every leader or an intending leader, okay, they always say we are all leaders, right? But then for people who have people under them that they need to, give feedback to, and also you mentioned how they should also receive the feedback, right? So it's important that emotional intelligence and empathy should be a big thing, right? Where that you're putting yourself in this person's shoes and you have kindness. When you have kindness and empathy as your person, it will be easy when you are talking to someone about something, right? And especially with creativity, because this person has thought about something, has put something together, spent some time doing research and putting that thing together and presenting it to you as a result of their research and then when you are now giving them that feedback and you now crush their emotions in the process, it stifles the creativity for next time. It makes them just do the maybe barest minimum, or when the creative idea that is even different from what people are used to is coming, they take it away because they're like, let me just do what we are used to here so that I don't get bashed, right? So it's important that, like I said, kindness, empathy is important for leaders, because if you have that in you, when you're giving the feedback, that is this thing going to empower this person or is going to dampen this person's spirit. So if it's so, you to think about it for yourself. When I say this, how will I feel? Or if I was in this person's shoes and I say this way. So I mean, the rule would be like, first, appreciate all the things that are good in the project, appreciate the time spent on it, give constructive feedback to say that I think the typography of this thing is not well put together. You can recommend to them to say, watch this short video to see how you can make it better, or give them something that would help the process, and tell them that apart from that, I think I'm fine with the job. So you can make those few adjustments, and please feel free to reach out to me if you need any further clarification. And I think anybody would love that kind of feedback. I was in my current role, right, as one of my managers gave me feedback, and I read the feedback, the email. I did a report, and then she responded to the report. And I was on a call with a friend, and I stood up and I enjoyed. I said, I love my new manager. Like the way she gives feedback. The feedback is empowering. Though she was able to point where errors are and where you need to adjust, but she was able to also tell me what I've done good or what I've done better or what I need to improve on. So it's in that way that people grow, and people also have a sense of attachment, right? Because I'm not going to get everything. I mean, I'm not perfect, but the way you present my imperfection is also important. Will it elevate me? Will it empower me? Or will it dampen my spirit?
Wow. I remember having a conversation with one of my boss then, and then about feedback, and I learned something from him. It's something popular now. It's called the sandwich approach.
All right.
Right. And what we need to realize is the fact that creative people, I'm going to be vulnerable right now. Creative people are emotional people, right? And so, like someone said, like it's like snail. Yeah. It takes effort, right? It takes intentionality to come out of that shell. And what you do to the snail while it's out of the shell, by determining the snail will want to come out again in that particular environment. So it takes a lot of effort and energy for creative people to actually be free to create. And if you if you have an environment that doesn't encourage them to come out of their shell, right, you are not going to have the best experience of those of the creative person. Yeah. And in terms of feedback, going back to the sandwich approach, is you need to first acknowledge, right? Acknowledge the effort that has been put into the work. Say the things that you like about the work, but appreciate the effort. Then go to, these are the things we need to work on. If it's possible for you to give a why, give a reason, we need to change this, we need to change, okay, let me say for design, we need to change this typography or this font choice, we need to change the font choice because it's not giving the right personality to the brand. Yeah, so we need to change it so that we can give the right personality to the brand, something like that. We help the creative person to go and have something to work with, right? And not just know what to do, to know why we are doing it, because why is very, very important.
True.
Now, why is important to first go with appreciating the things that are working on the project is any form of defense. Yeah, you take it down. You make the person comfortable to know that, okay, I can trust you.
Yeah.
Right? I can listen to you because you are for me and not against me. Right? And I think that when we create an environment where people are sure and they are secured that this person that is giving feedback is not because this person is against me.
True.
You will get the best out of that person. True. Trust me. But if you are always coming and saying this is not working, and people don't even know why, right? Or this is not working and it feels like an attack. Right? You didn't even tell me what is good. It's every time you tell me this is not good. Okay, what is good? Because one thing I believe is everything cannot be bad at the same time. Everything cannot be bad at the same time. So in the process of finding what needs to work, we need to acknowledge what is already working.
True.
Yeah, and once you are done, it's also okay. Sandwich approach now is appreciation, the feedback, then you end it, you close it with another appreciation.
Yeah.
And it can be simple like, well done, I see your effort. Yeah. This is getting better. Yeah. We are making progress. Yeah. Right? So it makes it look like this is a teamwork. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's an attack. Right? And in that way, you create an environment where creative people can trust you, because I think Todem says something that the currency of creativity is trust. It's important that wherever you're going to work or whoever you're going to work with trusts you. You don't want to create an environment where a creative person doesn't feel that his work or her work is trusted under your management.
The words of affirmation that leaders give actually goes a long way to make the person's day or evening. Even a simple well done. Like I had a session at work where I anchored an event one day like that. And after I was done, before I got downstairs to start going home, I just saw a WhatsApp message from like my leader. And I said, well done, Sam. Because in my mind, there was a little error I had in the session. And that thing was on to me. And then as soon as I saw the well done, Sam, it cleared every worry that I was having about that session, right? So I wanted to just add that the word of affirmation from leader, it can actually even boost that person's morale to be even more creative, right? So that's it. So how to receive feedback. So we are saying this because we want maybe a perfect organization or a perfect leadership, but you won't get a perfect leader all the time. So it is better for you as a creative person or someone who is receiving feedback to also be open to whatever scrutiny that might come in the line of your work, and then grow a tough skin. If you get a leader who give you words of affirmation, who do the sandwich approach, great, awesome, fantastic. But you won't get it all the time. So for you, the creative person, right, build a tough skin, grow a tough skin. Like one of my mentors would say, be open to public scrutiny. And it's part of the element of being successful. Because for example, celebrities and all that, a lot of people, I know they want to post something, but they're like, what will people say? What will Ibadan say? What will Lagos say? What will Twitter say? What will this say? And because of that, they don't put it out. And maybe that thing will go viral and become something to talk about. But because public scrutiny, they are afraid of it, right? So as a creative person, please, great, thick skin and be open to public scrutiny in your line of work. If you get a good leader, that would support you, that will give you affirmative word, awesome. But if you don't get, please grow yourself.
Thank you so much. The other thing that I think we need to do is ask the right questions, because it's when you ask the right questions, not just ask questions. Asking the right questions is when you're able to find the right problems, right? Because I think there was something I heard one time that I actually love to say over and over again. Is the problem, right? The problem we are trying to solve, is it really the problem? Because sometimes we think we are solving for something, and we are solving for the wrong problem. Because it's easy for us to assume something is a problem. So, and that's why it's important to ask the right questions and be able to also give yourself to improvement. Because whenever people are giving us feedback, right, it's also for us to self-improve. Because even when it looks like criticism, the goal of every criticism is actually to do better. It may not be constructive, but it is for us to do better. Yeah. So if we also look at it from, this person may not have said it the right way, but because I want to develop myself and be a better person, I should actually listen. Because within every how do they say it?
In every criticism, there's an element of truth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Within every criticism, there's an element of truth. Even if the person is not saying it the right way, I think we should always come to this point of self-reflection and say, what do I need to do better? Because at the end of the day, I believe the essence of us as human beings, aside finding meaning, is to give ourselves to continuous and never-ending improvement. If we don't build culture where people can question things, we will not be able to reimagine or identify loopholes, identify problems that we might be able to solve. So from top down, for you as a leader, for me as a leader, we need to have that open policy where people can actually question things.
While you were talking, I just remembered a term that came in the aspect of you kind of asking questions and being able to manage even the ego of people who are maybe older than you, right? It's stakeholder management. So you have to know how to manage every stakeholder. I mean, your superiors, people that are your peers or subordinates and all that. You should be able to know how to communicate. The thing is, we want to get this job done. I want to get it as creative as possible. So how can I sell this idea when they are saying no? How can I tell them that this system is a yes, so can we see it this way? But if we are not communicating, we are not managing our stakeholders very well, then we might not be able to do a lot of creative things. And another thing is the fact that in the workplace today, we have about 4 generations, different generations working. And maybe the baby boomers, or they are already saying the Gen Zs, this is how they are and all that. So it's also in the work of the leaders or the people and culture people, like we'll say the HR or something, to be able to make sure that this generation and this generation should not be at war. We know that most of our creative people right now, most of them are even like Gen Zs, like the young people or, millennials, right? But if the the baby boomers, right? If they don't know if they do not understand these people and the way they do their things, there might be like some form of friction in the workplace. So we should also try to understand these generations and what motivates them and how they work and all that. So generations shouldn't be at war. That was one of my articles, something like that, in the workplace. So, and also the part where in Africa we respect our elders. In fact, to a certain extent, I still have some of that thing in me where facing an elder to talk. But the thing is, know your project very well. Know the end-to-end of your project. Be confident in what you delivered. So if you know it very well, you're able to communicate it very well. So when they are talking it back, you're able to convincingly even say it better. But if you hardly know the end-to-end of what you're working on and all that, the confidence might not be there for you to talk. And then in organization, like in my organization, is first name basis. Even the topmost person, the MD, is by first name, right? So you kind of break certain wall that if I can call this person this, right? I mean, and then maybe open door policy, and then in the workplace, like our place now, we have where employees drop their ideas, idea bank. So some of those things can, like we said, an environment that fosters creativity.
Yeah, I think we've had a very, very insightful session. What do you think?
Yeah, it's been a wonderful session, and thank you for, bringing those things out of me. Like, I'm like, yeah, this is so true, like, organization. And shout out to every organization who the leadership creating like an enabling environment for creativity to strive, right? It's not easy, but thank you, and thank you, Jide, for bringing me on the podcast.
All right, guys, don't forget to like, give a comment, and subscribe to this channel. It's also okay that you put on your notification in case there is any other content that comes up. You'll be the first person to know. Don't you like that? Don't you like that? You like that, yeah? All right, bye.